F, B, or A, or S. By the way, what does S stand for? John was asking, and I'm not sure. I know it's a video game thing.
It's it's a Japanese thing. The way I understand it is it's based on the way grades working in Japan,
Okay.
school grades. But like S is like an A star for us. I don't know what it would be for America.
You have A
Probably something
plus.
A
similar.
plus.
Yeah.
A plus, A star. Yeah. Is like I think it's supposed to stand for like super or like special, I think.
Okay.
Because it's like, the rank above A. And then video games took that in as well. Which is where a lot of people know it from.
Yeah,
Like
Capcom games
whenever you're
usually.
doing S rank, yeah, Sonic Adventure. If you do good, you get an A, but if you do great, you get an S. And it's supposed to. I think it stands for special. I'm not 100% sure. It might not stand for anything. The way
Yeah,
that A and B and C don't stand for anything.
it's
It's
true.
just S is like
Mm.
that's the best one. Um, I think in video games it stood for special or for super, because you were like super rank or special rank. But I'm not sure. I think in Japan in the grading system, I don't think it means anything. It's just like a star or a plus or whatever.
Well, I think that's a very clean way to introduce the show. So, welcome to Spark Adventures, everybody. Welcome to
We
Spark.
learned something.
Yeah, we learned
Yeah.
something. This is educational. Welcome to Spark Adventures, everybody. My name is
Also,
Corey. Yes.
what if I just said was pure bollocks?
Sounds.
What?
To quote to quote the great David Lee Roth, "Speak what you know and make everything else sound convincing." Um,
Mm-hmm.
Big bollocks.
so yes, hi, welcome to Spark Adventures. My name is Corey, and with me is Dylan and John. How's it going, guys?
Good.
Not too shabby.
Good, good. A couple of months ago, if you're asking why we're talking about what S rank means, we did a tier list, a series of tier lists, grading Batman villains. And the way we did it was each of us there was this episode with Dylan, an episode with John, and then there was an episode where we compiled all three of ours and like basically came up with like an average. And it caused some debates on, where does Penguin lie? Where does Joker lie? And it was a good time in that sense. So we're not an X-Men podcast, but thought it would be a good idea if we gave the X-Men a similar treatment. So this is a Smark Avengers tier list, made it ourselves. So we're not, because that was another factor, is we were using someone else's tier list they made on the website, and they didn't include Mr. Freeze in their Batman villains for whatever reason. This one we made ourselves. So we took basically the first 25 X-Men. We cut out some of the people, like we didn't put Changeling or Mimic or people like that on there. We kind of kept it true and blue. So we got 25 names that we thought were important enough. And we're basically going to compile the Smark Avengers official X-Men tier ranking. So, you guys excited to do that?
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect.
But I do have a question. Are we doing it by like our own personal preferences, or just in terms of
Yes.
how important we think they are in the X-Men hierarchy?
This is very interesting. Like we need to sort this out, because some people could be like, listen, we all know that like Cyclops is in X-Men terms like a big important character, but some people don't like Cyclops. So like, are we rating it on importance in the X-Men comic or your own opinion?
I mean, if we didn't do it by our own opinion, what would be the fun in doing it? Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because, I mean,
like with the Joker.
Well, yeah, but that was the problem, is that you were outvoted on that one.
But that's what I said in my episode.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I said in my episode. Is that I put him an F.
Yes.
But society is gonna put him an A.
We live in
And
a society.
That's what happened. That's what happened.
But yeah, like I said, I figure, but I mean, yeah, exactly. So when we came in to do our combined list, you made your argument, and I made my argument, and John made his argument, and we kind of had to get to a point where we either all agreed or we had a majority vote. So that's kind of like...
And everybody ignored what I said.
So that's kind of what we're going to be doing is, like I said, I think it's more fun if we do our own personal preferences, because if not, I mean, fuck, most of these people would be S tier just because they've been on the team forever. What's the fun of that?
Yeah.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay, so this is if you go up here, the Smart Avenger X-Men ranking list. I don't know if this is public or not. I can make it public, I'm sure. If those listening at home want to come up and challenge us on this. But as you can see, we have 25 X-Men down here at the bottom. We could run through them now, or we could just run through them as we're doing it. I feel like it'd just be easier if we did that. If we just ran through them as we were doing it. So, as you can tell, we have the S ranking, which Dylan started the episode off by explaining to us. A, B, C, and then we jump to F. We could have gone to D and E, but I feel like that's enough options. I think 5 is fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So up first, we have Charles Xavier. Charles Xavier, of course, the X-Men named after him, one of the world's greatest telepaths. We did a whole deep dive on Charles a couple months ago, and that was a 2-parter. And basically kind of went over his highlights and lowlights, which involved a lot of manipulation. But where do you put Charles Xavier on your tier list?
I mean, I would say he's a good solid A tier because he's obviously the founder of the X-Men. He's been involved in a lot of the major storylines over the years, and he's basically led the team as well. So he's a pretty important character, I'd say.
Okay, I would have said B tier because I think he's an important character, but again, like we established right off the bat, that's not what we're going with here. That's not the defining factor. And for me, like, how excited are you to read a Charles Xavier story? How good has he been as a character? Like we covered this in the Xavier miniseries that we did. A lot of the stuff that he's involved with, you kind of like, this isn't great, or this is weird, or the character is weird. For me, like, he's a good character to have, an important character to have, but he's never really been like the best character,
Yeah.
in terms of like fun and reading and stuff. He's had some highlights for sure. Like, there's definitely been some good points. But for me, I would say B, like middle of the road kind of thing. Maybe, well, B is not really middle of the road, I guess. But like, you know what I mean? Like,
well, it is on our list. It's the 3rd out of 5.
In this, he is. But like, you
general,
go down to C and then you go to F. It's a big jump, you know. So like, I would say B because like I think that's a good place to put him because it's not like overly, right at the top, but it's also not like he's the shittiest character ever.
I would agree with you on B, just for the simple fact that the X-Men over the years have done a really convincing argument of saying he's not necessary to them. Because like there are stronger telepaths than him, there are stronger leaders than him, and honestly, like Utopia was probably the whole Krakoa storyline was probably the kindest the writers have been to Charles in years. I mean, even now, they had the escape from Grey Malkin and the storyline, the X-Man hunt, where it seemed like half the people that wanted to capture him, it was because they were like, he makes everything worse. So I mean, it's like he's so bad they just sent him up to space, and I think they announced that there's an Exiles book coming out soon that Charles will be a member of. So I mean, I would say,
but are you excited?
Too.
Are you interested? This here that Exiles are coming back with Charles Xavier in it. You're like, all right.
Yeah, it's like the Starjammers, Lilandra, Xavier, and Kid Gladiator from the Wolverine and the X-Men run. So
something great.
Yeah, it sounds like filler. So yeah, Dylan and I think B tier. John, are you convinced on B tier, or is there an argument you want to make that these should be higher?
I mean, I'm not gonna die on a hill for Charles Xavier. So
Not many
I'm
people
happy
will
with
these days.
B tier.
All right.
Ah, he's a
Yeah.
bit of a dick.
So we put Xavier into B tier. Okay. Up next, we have the
Yeah.
first of the X-Men, the first recruit. We have Cyclops. Cyclops historically always been the leader of the team, except for a few periods of time where he wasn't. And he was off leading a different team at that point. Literally been an X-Man since he was like 16 years old. Had a brief foray as a kind of an anti-hero, and currently the leader of the adjectiveless X-Men in Alaska. So, thoughts on Cyclops?
I would also put him in B because I never really liked Cyclops. I don't think he's terrible, but I also think that like he's become a crutch for the X-Men a lot. Like I didn't like his run as like an anti-hero, like kind of dig.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like that at all. And I thought that like for a lot of the time whenever he was the leader, he was just kind of like there wasn't much to his character. He's just kind of a bland guy, and I don't get why he is always like the de facto leader. Like they've had Storm and other people like lead the X-Men, and they've been interesting and fun. It's weird that they keep going back to Cyclops, who for a long time like didn't really have much of a personality. So like I think he's a good figurehead. He's a good like um image to put on the X-Men, but like for me, he's never been like the most interesting X-Men. So I would probably say the B
Uh,
again.
John.
I mean, I was gonna go A. I think he's had some interesting stuff happen, like the whole relationship with Jean Grey, and then when she seemingly died, like hooking up with Madeline Pryor, and then like you say, all of the stuff where sort of when he became disillusioned with Charles Xavier and the way he was like sort of running things, then he sort of took on this harder edge to kind of fight for mutant rights and stuff, and then he sort of became more influenced by Magneto, and like there was good character development there, and I think he's been in some good stories over the years as well. So yeah, I would definitely put him in an A tier.
I agree with John on that one. For me, Cyclops is one of those characters who's kind of synonymous with the X-Men. Um, his leadership aspect is such an important part to the character, but there's also, I don't know, I really have been digging what they've been doing with him in Adjectiveless X-Men with Jed McKay. He's a character who has been kind of dealing with like panic attacks and anxiety from having to lead the team, but also having to put up this strong front because it's what's expected of him because he's been doing it literally his entire life. I even really enjoyed that period of time where there was the time displaced X-Men and the young Cyclops broke away from the group and was in the Champions and had his own solo series where he was in space with his dad. So I've always really liked Cyclops. I think the power set, while one note, has always been used in really interesting ways. So yeah, I would agree with John on A.
Okay. I mean, I could see it. I just never really liked Cyclops. Like, I just thought he was really boring.
All right, so we will
Yeah.
throw Cyclops in A. All right, up next
Yeah, that's fine.
we have Bobby Drake Iceman. In B tier, Iceman, much like Cyclops Xavier, characters we did deep dives on previously. I'll be honest with you, this is a character I would put in C tier, even though he is an alpha mutant, because or omega level mutant, because I just to me there has never been a good Iceman story. I have never seen an Iceman story or Iceman's appearing in the series. I gotta read it, and I don't know. I just have never felt the character has been relevant, and I know they've tried. He's obviously very important to the LGBTQ community as an openly gay mutant these days. But again, there's nothing about him that is exciting to me.
Right. I feel like if your big character defining trait is that you're gay, you're like that doesn't
Well, and it's
that's
he's
not a trait,
yeah, it's like his two big
you
character
know?
traits that people bring up, or well, three if you really want to count it, is His like best friend is Kitty Pryde. Is a gay mutant, and also he is an Omega level mutant. And I feel like there's just nothing to the character aside from that.
Right. You know, I would have said, I would totally agree with you. I would have said C, because like he's never the main character in the X-Men. He's a great like X-Man. He's a great character in the book The X-Men. He's a great member of the team, but he's never like you're never reading a story about Iceman. You're never excited to see a story about Iceman. He's a good in a team book. He's a great member of the team. But I wouldn't really be like, oh, you got to read that Iceman story, you know. So I think C is pretty fair.
John?
I mean, I would have even gone F. I do not care for Iceman, much at all. So,
I mean, can I?
but hey, if you guys,
Hey,
wanna
I'll
put
fucking
him in
change
C,
my
then
vote.
that's
I thought
fine by
C
me.
was harsh.
We can do you want to just do F?
Yeah, I'll change
Let's
my
be
vote.
honest, like not a whole lot of people are gonna go into F. So like,
Well, so yeah. Well, but here's the thing, though. I know for a fact this character is popular amongst a like group of people. When he started showing up in Exceptional X-Men, I saw like some people online that were like, "Yes, yes, Iceman's back on this book." And I think they just like Kitty Pryde, and they like that Kitty has someone to talk to that's not Emma Frost.
mhm.
All
Well,
right.
we'll get to those.
Yeah, we'll get there. Up next, we have
Mhm.
Beast, Hank McCoy, the first X-Men character we did a deep dive on. So Beast has been a hero. He's been a villain. His appearance has changed drastically. He has done things for the good of mutant kind, both positive and negative. A very nuanced character. So, what are your feelings on Hank McCoy?
S. I don't know, man. Like we've been pretty vocal about my love for the Beast, but again, like the way he's been treated the last couple of years has been really weird and like out of character, and didn't always play the right way. Um, I think if you look at his stuff before that, it's like I would say it's a strong A. Me personally, I would say S, but I think that if you look at the stuff before, like the Krakoa stuff, Beast is like a strong A. So I'm gonna say S, but I think we all knew I was going to say S, and I can understand why you guys wouldn't, because like I said, the Krakoa stuff was a weird move.
John?
It was weird, but I quite enjoyed it. Like I've just finished reading like all the X-Force run.
Oh, did you get to
And,
the end where they fixed the Beast problem?
Well,
X-
yeah.
Wasn't that
They-
anticlimactic though?
Yeah.
Like they just wrapped it up in like one page.
I mean, it was a little bit more than one page, but it was quite sudden, and like you say, it was a bit sort of it wasn't the most exciting ending to the book, but
Yeah,
it felt like even in the sort of the page after where I can't remember who wrote it now, but like is
Ben
it
Percy. I
Benjamin
believe, was-
Percy?
Yeah,
Yeah. He like wrote like, oh yeah, I hope to do way more than 50 issues, but like, this is it. This is
Marvel is
as far
Marvel.
as it's gonna go. But it felt like, there was more story to tell there, and given the chance, it could have expanded on it. But what it was, I quite enjoyed that whole storyline. But even then, I would have probably put Beast as like a B tier for me.
Okay, interesting. Corey, you're gonna have to do some work here.
Well, here's the thing. I would go A. I like
Okay.
Beast a lot. Beast is another character that I so strongly associate with the X-Men. Plus, Beast was the first character that really broke out of the team with his stint on the Avengers. I mean, there's a lot more nuance with Beast than I think people want to give him credit for, because I think people just kind of slot him in the de facto, well, he's the smart guy on the team kind of role. That, yeah, I don't know. I enjoy the more childish things that they will do with him, in the past. Because I was like, when I was thinking of Beast, I always thought of the X-Men cartoon. And in the very first episode, like they show him like clowning around with Morph. You know.
Yeah.
So I think he's a nuanced character who is capable of very good and very bad things. I know that's something that the character is currently grappling with in Jed McKay's X-Men book. Because he is technically a clone from a simpler time for Beast that is aware of some of the horrific things that he has done, as the real Beast, quote unquote, did. So I don't know. I like the character. Power set wise, it's not the most exciting thing in the world. I mean, acrobatics, and he's blue and furry. But I think that he's a character with a lot more variety that you can do things with than some of the other names on this list. So I go A.
Yeah. Should we say A?
That's fair enough.
So we just take the average?
I'm happy with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll throw him in A with Cyclops.
Like you said, man, like he is really recognizable. The cartoon did a lot for him. Kelsey Grammer.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? What more do we have to say? With
That's
the Beast.
true. Well, speaking of
I'm saying that because we're about to, we're padding the Beast out because this next one is not going to take a long time.
I don't think it will either. So up next we have Warren Worthington III, Angel, also known as Archangel, also known as Death. I'll start it off because I'm usually the person with the kinder things to say about Angel. I like the character a lot. Again, I think there's a lot of variety you can do. I like a character with simpler powers because I think it forces the writers to be more creative with what you can do with them. But that being said, a lot of Angel's storylines have always revolved around like the grasp of control that he has over the Archangel alter ego. I think power set wise, when he is in the Archangel form and he has like the bladed wings, that's obviously a big upgrade over just having the fluffy white ones that help him fly. But I'd go C tier for him, honestly.
What did you say, C?
I'd go C for Angel, just because I like the character, but I'll also acknowledge that they don't do too much with him aside from the Archangel storylines.
I'm gonna go F. Like nobody cares about Angel. They just don't. They tried making him interesting. It didn't work. Nobody cares. And like you said, it's always like either Angel or Archangel. Is he good or is he bad? Like no. By this point, nobody cares. They have.
Hey, John?
I was gonna say C as well because I figure like the first initial like Archangel storyline where he loses his wings in the mutant massacre, and then Apocalypse kind of finds him and basically turns him into Archangel. Like that was a pretty good storyline. But like you say, they just kind of keep going back to the well once too often, and it's just always like, is he good? Is he bad? Who cares?
Nobody cares.
But like that, because the initial storyline was so good, I would stick him in C rather than F.
Right, but like one good storyline out of 80 years or whatever.
Yep, that's one more than Iceman's had.
That's one more than Bobby Drake.
Right. That's what, like, that's why to me they're pretty, like they're not that dissimilar from each other. Like they're in the CM bracket. That's what I think.
So Dylan, is this one of those impasses that we're gonna reach because two of us say C and you say F, or are we?
I don't care about.
You don't
care about Angel enough to fight it.
All right, fair enough.
Which is part of my point. It's part of my point, but
fair enough.
Whatever.
So up next we have the first female member of the group. This is Jean Grey, aka Marvel Girl, aka Phoenix. Usually when we do these sorts of things, we specify which version or whatever, but I mean, this is the entire character. So I mean, this is the Phoenix. This is one of the most powerful cosmic beings in the galaxy, on top of already being one of the greatest, strongest telepaths in the world. So, thoughts on Jean Grey?
I would say A tier. I think they have been able to tell a lot of different storylines with Jean Grey. It's not always been, oh, she's a Phoenix. I think they go to the well one too many times with that, but I don't think that's the only story they have told with her. I think she's capable of a lot. I think she's an interesting character, very recognizable, very powerful. I would say a.
John?
Yeah, I would agree with that as well. Like, I think, obviously she's had some pretty significant moments in X-Men history. And yeah, she's one of those rare characters who actually stayed dead for
Long time.
like quite a long time. So, like I
I mean,
think,
she stayed dead for a long time
yeah,
twice, though,
she's
didn't she?
Technically,
Yeah.
the first time,
And then the
it was
second
like a
with
few
Grant
years,
Morrison.
and then yeah. So, um, yeah, I would stick it in the A tier, I reckon.
I
Yeah.
won't disagree with that. Honestly, I was surprised. I thought Jean would be our first S tier. But yeah, no. I mean, to me, Jean is Jean. I've never found her to be super interesting, but I mean, she is a linchpin to a lot of storylines. And I will say the one mark that will always go against her, in my opinion, is I'm not a fan of the Wolverine, Cyclops, Jean Grey love triangle. It's so played out after however many damn years it's been. We can thank Hickman for bringing that back up with the whole making them a thruple thing that the current editor-in-chief, basically tries to deny. But, oh well. So yeah, we'll put Jean Grey over into A tier.
Okay.
Up next, we have our first departure outside of the original X-Men lineup. We have Lorna Dane, a.k.a. Polaris, the green-haired mistress of magnetism. I'll go ahead and start us off. Lorna is not a character we've talked about on the show. We're going to get to her eventually as we're doing our deep dive in X-Men characters, I'm sure. But Lorna is a character I've always associated more with X-Factor from the 90s and Peter David's run. I'm fine with Lorna. I would probably put her C tier, though. I mean, the power set's the power set. The whole, is she really Magneto's daughter? Is she not Magneto's daughter? Because she doesn't seem as important in the scheme of things as, like, Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver in that regard. She almost kind of feels like the middle child, even though she's probably not. But yeah, I think she's a fine character, but I probably wouldn't do much more than C tier for her.
I agree. I was gonna say C because I think that she's a good character, but not a great character. She's not really like super interesting or always like in storylines or like there's stuff you could do with her, but they don't really do anything with her. So yeah, I would say C.
Yeah, I agree as well. Like, her power set, you've already got a guy with the exact same power set, but like amped up even further. So,
Yeah.
like, she doesn't really offer much in terms of like powers, but in terms of character as well and stuff like that, I don't know, she's never really grabbed me. So, yeah. C. I mean, I could have even gone with F, but I'm happy with C.
I think C is good.
Okay. Next up, we have Alex Summers, a.k.a. Havoc, Cyclops' little brother. Alex was a member of the X-Men originally after being introduced, and then he went on to be the leader of X-Factor when they were a part of the government program under Valerie Cooper in the 90s, again with Peter David. He had a stint leading the Uncanny Avengers in the most recent years. Havoc's powers are definitely interesting. With sort of like these uncontrollable energy bursts. Something I've always found interesting was that the Summers brothers' powers don't really they cancel each other out if they try to use them on one another. But Alex's main defining trait is sort of an inferiority complex. Never sees himself as good a leader as his brother. Never sees himself as worthy of the person he's romantically involved in. It also the kind of odd, maybe not hero worship of his brother, and the fact that he was in a relationship with Madeline Pryor recently is also a little weird. Like, let me date your brother's ex, but also she's a clone demon from hell kind of deal. Regardless,
Yeah.
Havoc I would also put in C tier along with Lorna, who was his very on again off again romantic partner.
I would put Havoc in F tier because I don't care about Havoc.
I mean, I would go C because, like, I quite enjoyed that Uncanny Avengers run where he was leading the team. That's like the most I've ever kind of cared about Havoc as a character. So I don't think he's completely worthless, but he's definitely not one of my favorite X-Men.
Yeah,
He's
I
not
mean, like,
completely worthless. Iceman.
he's not an Iceman tier, but I mean, like I said, I was a big fan of the '90s X Factor run with Peter David, so I have a lot of fond, feelings towards Alex.
Okay.
So are we good with C tier, Dylan?
Again, I don't I don't care enough to be able to argue it, so that's fine.
fair. All right,
This is
somebody.
what I'm saying though. Havoc and Angel is so boring. Like, who cares? You know?
So is it just these are the characters that are kind of boring, and then Iceman's a character who just has no storylines going for him? That's how we're ranking them.
Yeah, it's just like he's super.
Yeah.
Like, it's this is if you're reading a book, like, who do you want to read? I love reading a book with Beast in it. I couldn't tell you anything about Iceman. You know.
All right. Well, up next we have a character that I have strong feelings that we're going to rate pretty highly. Kurt Wagner, Nightcrawler. So this is our first from the giant size X-Men lineup. Nightcrawler, of course, the demonic looking teleporter, longtime member of the X-Men, went on to become a member of Excalibur. Had a period of time where he also was dead for a good couple of years. Came back and was put in charge of creating a religion for the X-Men on Krakoa. Then he did a stint as Spider-Man, essentially, in a miniseries called The Uncanny Spider-Man. And currently is helping Rogue and Gambit mentor these young kids in Louisiana in Gail Simone's Uncanny X-Men. Sort of a very slapdash, review of him. Any thoughts on Nightcrawler?
I don't know if this is controversial, but I would have put him in B tier. Like, I like Nightcrawler, but I don't love Nightcrawler. Do you know what I mean? I think he's a good character, very recognizable, lots of fun. But and like, he's had good storylines and stuff, but like, I would never. I don't think he's like ever like, that that high up. I would say B. I don't know if that's because B's still pretty good.
It's pretty good, yeah, but I mean, he's almost like the heart and soul of the X-Men. I would put him A tier, 'cause he's, obviously, like, he's had a lot of storylines based around his religion and stuff and how important that is to him. But he's also got his like whole history with his parents as well, like Mystique and Azrael. Like, he's had issues with that and stuff. Like, I think he's had some pretty good stories over the years.
Didn't
So
they make it official of his Mystique and Destiny?
Yeah, that Mystique was in the appearance of Azazel.
oh really?
Yeah, so there was a one shot called X-Men Blue, John, that was during the end of the Krakoa period. It was happening at the same time as the Uncanny Spider-Man miniseries.
Huh. Okay. I haven't
Yeah.
read that.
I don't know if it'll come to a trade or not. I'm not sure how you would put, because it was Uncanny or X-Men Blue was a one shot, so I don't really know how they would bundle that into a trade. But in case you don't get around to reading it, that's essentially what had occurred.
Okay. Fair enough.
Right, Corey.
Yeah, no, I would go A tier for Nightcrawler. I think Nightcrawler is very recognizable. I'm not a huge fan of Catholic Nightcrawler. I really hated the period of time where they had him in a little priest collar. I have always been a big fan of like the fun-loving swashbuckler. Plus, he's like one of the few people Wolverine can stand to be around, which is always, kind of fun to see their dynamic. I really like Nightcrawler, and I think that's, again, he's a character that has a lot of nuance with Mystique, his sister Rogue. There's a lot you can do with him. So I'd go A tier.
That's fair. I thought that's what you guys were gonna do. That's why I said maybe my B tier is controversial, but like
I don't think it's
I get
controversial.
it.
If you
I
had
totally
said like
get
F tier, I think that would be controversial.
Yeah.
it. You think Nightcrawler's the same as Iceman? Please give him some credit.
All right, up next we have Logan, aka James Howlett, aka Wolverine. Adamantium skeleton, essentially immortal, got the claws. When you think of the X-Men in the 90s, you think of fucking Wolverine. He was everywhere and still... Well, no, they've kind of calmed down on that. He's not in almost every fucking Marvel book like he was back in the 2000s and 2010s. But yeah.
Yeah.
Wolverine got around a lot. He's still very much a prominent member. He's got his own solo book. He's had multiple movies where he was played by Hugh Jackman. So yeah, thoughts on Wolverine?
This might sound controversial. I'm also gonna put Wolverine in B tier. I think part of it was like the overexposure to Wolverine that everybody had, where I was just never a big Wolverine fan. I've been going back and reading some of the Chris Claremont stuff, and I think that he did a very good job of writing Wolverine. He seems like a fun character, but like he still has an edge to him. And obviously I liked the Grant Morrison run with Wolverine in it, but for the most part, like I get it, I get it. He's Wolverine, whatever. And he's just like way too overexposed, way too overplayed. And I don't think that a lot of writers like get, Wolverine. They just make him this tough, gruff, whatever. And I'm like, if you're gonna do stuff with him, do it. Don't do what they have been doing. I don't know. I say I know because it's the Joker complex. I know because he's Wolverine, he's gonna get ranked very highly. But for me personally, I think he's just okay. So I would say B tier for Wolverine. And this is not me, like, obviously, if you look at the impact he's had and the popularity and yada yada, we're not doing it like that. It's your own opinion. My opinion is Wolverine here.
I'm gonna tell you, I'm dreading the day that we get to our deep dive on Wolverine, because that'll be like a 3-parter. Because they have done so much with the character. I see. Here's the thing: I'm not a huge Wolverine fan, but I do enjoy reading him, which doesn't sound like it makes any sense, but it just is. Like, I'm not going to go out of my way to read a Wolverine book, except sometimes I have. So it doesn't make any sense for me, but I do like the character. I liked him a lot more when they didn't try to explain his backstory and it was all mysterious, and then someone would he'd go somewhere, he'd go to Japan, and then someone would recognize him, and it was just like he'd have no real memory of what had happened, and it was just kind of fun piecing it together and coming up with your own theories about what was this guy like before the X-Men. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like he has to be at least A tier, or it's a disservice to the character.
Well, fuck him.
John.
I mean, it's Wolverine. He's S tier all over.
He's not S tier.
He's 100% S tier.
What makes him S tier?
He's like one of the most important characters in the X-Men's history.
That's not what we're doing this on. We're doing it on personal opinion.
But yeah, that's my personal opinion, and he's always his characterization makes him stand out as well. He's always had a cool character. His surliness makes him sort of have all these horrible well, not horrible, but odd relationships with the other X-Men. So he's interesting, and then he's had lots of different stories as well. I will admit that I think the more backstory that they've told of him like the less interesting he has become, but like he's still Wolverine, and at the end of the day, he's like the guy who's gonna snick his claws and then kill some people. So who doesn't love that?
I
All right.
feel like the compromise is the A tier, is it?
I mean, we are spread 3 between them, and we already had to do that with. Who did we do it with? Did we do it with Xavier?
Beast. Do it, Beast. Because I said S tier for Beast.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we did it with Beast. So we put using that same logic because you're going B, John's going S, and I'm going A. We're going middle of the ground with Wolverine in A tier.
I think that's fair.
John?
I mean, yeah, I don't agree with that, but for the sake of moving on, let's
Okay.
stick him in A.
I'm just saying we
Yeah.
have set up high expectations for S tier. Someone who
I know, what the hell?
someone who I feel like won't be getting S tier. This one's a little sad for me.
I have a feeling that at least 2 of these X-Men are gonna get fought very hard to be an S tier.
Yeah, I have a feeling as well.
I know 2 of them, and I would be very upset if both of them don't get an S tier. So
Up next, we have a character who, sadly, I don't think is going to place very highly on this, but it's a character that I'm a rather big fan of, and that's Sean Cassidy, a.k.a. Banshee. Banshee joined the X-Men with the Giant-Size X-Men. He is a fellow countryman of Dylan, being from Ireland, named after the folklore creature. Really, when I think of Banshee, I think of hanging out with Moira McTaggart on Muir Island, and I think of leading Generation X with Emma Frost, and that's again where I became a very big fan of the character, was that Generation X run. Aside from that, Banshee probably died in one of the more humiliating ways, where he got hit by a fucking plane because his powers were weakened and he couldn't stop it, and then he was dead for a long period of time. And then he got resurrected in Krakoa, and then Moira McTaggart killed him and wore his skin so that she could get through the portals or some shit. I don't even fucking know, really, what's going on. But Banshee is back alive and feeling sad, and that's what they're doing with him these days. So, that being said, I would not be surprised to see Banshee in our F tier.
I was gonna say C tier
Okay.
because I like the character. I think that he did do some good stuff. The fact that he stayed dead was quite a surprise because that doesn't always happen. I suspect it's because nobody knew what the fuck to do with him, which is a shame. But like, I thought he was like an interesting character. He had an interesting like move set, power base.
Mm-hmm.
He's never been like, oh, you gotta see Banshee, but I think that like he's a solid, you know, that kind of character, you know. So I would say C, but I can understand arguments
Yeah.
for lower.
John?
I mean, I would have gone F because, it's Banshee. What the fuck has he ever done?
He led.
He's,
He
like,
taught Generation X. We watched
That's
the
two
movie.
things.
he-
That's more than I.
We watched the movie.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can we go lower than F then?
Hey,
That Canadian tried so hard with that Irish accent. Oi then.
that movie was a wonderful piece of cinema.
I mean, he died and no one really cared. Like, no one was like clamoring for him to come back or anything.
Can
It's
I-
just like, oh yeah.
There's a
well,
weird nuance thing about that though, because I remember again in Peter David's X Factor when he died, his daughter Siren was like, people were like, "Oh, I'm so sorry to hear about your dad," and she was like, "Oh, he's gonna come back. They all come back. Everybody comes back."
Yeah.
And she was
This-
like in complete denial. And I thought that was such a unique
This
take.
was really great. It was so good. Where she's like, "Oh, the X-Men, they always come back," and everybody else was like, "Dude, he's dead."
Yeah, he got hit by a plane.
I remember that a lot. I thought that was really really good.
Peter
That's
David
the
again.
odd thing about the whole Krakoa storyline, though, is like that, it was, made into this big deal when it was revealed that all the mutants were being resurrected. Well, these guys were coming back from the dead anyway, long before Krakoa came about. So who gives a
Yeah.
fuck?
Oh, but come on, don't you remember Jumbo Carnation? Everybody remembers Jumbo Carnation.
I remember Jumbo Carnation because
You
I
read the Grant
love the Grant
Morrison
Morrison books. And the whole point of Jumbo Carnation was that he died. That was the whole point. He was supposed to be a martyr that kicked off the riot of Xavier.
Mm-hmm.
He's not supposed to be. What's the point of bringing him back? You can kill him again? Like, oh, I don't know.
Well, that way everybody could have new clothes for the
know.
Hellfire Gala.
What ranking is Jumbo Carnation? See?
So I would. So by the way, yeah, because of the whole Generation X thing, I would put Banshee as C.
Okay.
So are we gonna
Are we happy with that?
John, are you happy with that? Are you okay with that?
I'll begrudgingly go along with it.
Okay. I'll take begrudging. I'll take begrudging.
Okay.
I'll take begrudging. All right. Up next we have. Is it now? Here's the thing. It's Aurora Monroe, correct? The pronunciation.
Yes.
Okay.
believe so.
AKA Storm. Storm joined with Giant Size X-Men. She became one of Claremont's favorite characters to write. Very complex and nuanced character that has done and been in a lot of stuff going on, whether it be her childhood as a thief in Egypt and under the influence of the Shadow King, to being a member of the X-Men, losing her powers and fighting Callisto of the Morlocks, and then fighting and beating Cyclops for leadership rights, and yeah, just kind of always being around. I mean, even now, she's essentially a god, because she got a hell of a power upgrade by, being associated with Eternity. So, I mean, we all feel very strongly about Storm, so I would not be surprised if she's S tier.
Yeah, I was gonna say yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Storm is cool. She's badass. She
Can I tell you? I think
cool.
Can I tell you? I think the worst thing they ever
really
did with
bad.
her was the marriage of Black Panther.
Interesting.
I didn't think that. I didn't like it. It felt weird and hackneyed.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, I didn't read much of that, so I don't know. But like the stuff that I have read from Storm, like she's an interesting character. She's always like a focal point, which she should be. Like she really is. She's really cool about it. Like she's written very well a lot of the time. 100%. I would put Storm in S tier. That's what the S stands for.
That's for Storm.
There you
It's
go.
Storm tier.
All right. See, that wasn't that. I didn't feel like that was going to be that complicated.
No, I was not good at that at all. S tier all the way.
All right.
100%.
So up next, we have the last of the Giant Size X-Men editions, because we are not including Sunspot or Thunderbird because they did not last terribly long on the team. We have Peter Rasputin, a.k.a. Colossus. Colossus was one of the younger members of the team when he joined. He came from the Soviet Union back when it was still the Soviet Union. And longtime member of the team, had like the weird pseudo-inappropriate relationship with Kitty Pryde. People, by the way, freak the fuck out about that right now. I don't get it, but getting retroactively upset about something happened in the 1980s.
Yeah, it already happened. Like, we can't fix that. It's already happened.
You fucking weirdos. Anyway, Peter Rasputin has always been the team heavy for the most part. Some of his bigger storylines, honestly, I would probably say choosing to sacrifice himself to cure the legacy virus. His return in Astonishing X-Men was a really big moment that was written, and became a member of the Phoenix Force. He became the Juggernaut for a period of time. He was in the X-Force run that John just wrapped up. We could finally talk about it. He was being manipulated by his brother into being a unwilling spy for Krakoa and leader of the X-Force team for a period. And then he, from the ashes, in a move that didn't surprise anyone when they announced this lineup, there was a big beefy guy wearing a metal mask, and they said his name was Tank, and then the next to last issue they revealed it was Colossus the whole time, for no real reason. But what are you going to do? How would you guys rank?
Surprise.
How would you guys rank Colossus?
I would put him in A tier. I really like Colossus. He's a fun, cool character, very recognizable. He was the best character to play as in the arcade game.
Oh yeah,
I find I love playing as Colossus. He was my boy. The middle noise whenever you pick him, whenever you make him go metal, he's like, "Roar," you know?
yeah.
Uh,
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
spam the shit out of that button every now and then.
Yeah. Oh my god, every time. I would say A tier for Colossus.
John.
I would have gone B. Like, I mean,
Okay.
I like Colossus, but he's had too many years where he's just been sort of a sad sack character, which has kind of dragged him down a little bit for me.
Yeah. The Kitty Pryde thing is kind of weird.
Yeah,
I mean, it is.
Oh,
Yeah,
boy.
it was.
It's kind
I don't know why people are just noticing this, but it was fucking weird at the time as well.
Because she was like 15
Yeah.
and he was like 19. But yeah, it was weird.
Yeah.
But then also the Kitty Pryde stuff. I mean, in a move that has been forgotten, he'd got this massive chest tattoo in honor of Kitty Pryde. In when she was still trapped up in space in the Bullet, I remember that big old chest tattoo that disappeared and what have you. And then speaking of him being a sad sack, I mean, she left him at the altar. So, like, Peter is associated with a lot of melancholy and sadness, which I guess if you've read a lot of, like, Dostoevsky and Russian literature, I guess it's on brand. I like the character a lot. I would go B tier as well because I just don't feel like they do enough with him.
Okay. Yeah, I'm happy with B. I think that's fine.
Well, Xavier finally gets company in the B tier. All right, up next, we just talked about her a moment ago. We have Kitty Pryde. Kitty Pryde, a.k.a. Sprite, a.k.a. Shadowcat. Did she have any other names?
Oh, she probably had a million.
She had a lot of
I can't
names.
remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, she had a lot of names. Kitty Pryde, she was the young, plucky new girl that was added to Claremont's X-Men run. She became a focal point of the book. A lot going on with Kitty Pryde. A lot of iconic scenes. Very famously, though, we're going to jump ahead past the Brood storyline where stuff happened with her that was pretty body horror-ish. Anyway, we talked about it on our last episode. She saved the world by using her powers to make a giant space bullet intangible so that it passed through Earth. And then she got stuck on it for a while. Got brought back by Magneto. She became a teacher for the Jean Grey School. In Krakoa, she became captain of the Marauders. I still feel like that storyline with she couldn't use the portals. She was like the only mutant who couldn't use the portals. I thought that it ended on such a weird weak point, and I felt like the mystery had such a poor conclusion. Regardless, she's the one who broke bad when shit went bad during the Krakoa era, and she single-handedly killed a bunch of dudes using the ninja skills that Wolverine taught her. Current day, she wants nothing to do with the X-Men, aside from being in a book called Exceptional X-Men, where she is mentoring 3 young mutants along with Emma Frost and Iceman. I know my feelings on Kitty Pryde, the character, are not high. I'm not a fan of hers. But again, I feel like it would be a disservice if I did not have her at least at B. So I would go at A, though, because I think she is a character who's had a lot of story and a lot of importance.
I don't think you know how this works. You just said, I already like her. I'm going to put her in A tier. So your opinion is, I don't like this character, so she's an A tier?
Well, that's kind of the thing. It's like, I don't like the character very much, but I can't ignore the significance of the character.
Yes, you can. What do you actually think about Shadowcat?
I mean, here's the thing. But there's other characters that I like a lot that they are dependent on their relationship with Shadowcat. Colossus, Storm, Nightcrawler, and Wolverine. These are all characters that have a close bond with this character. That, like, if you were to take her away from them, there is an impact. That's kind of where I kind of feel like I can't separate her because she is so ingrained with other characters. Except for Iceman.
I don't know, man.
Fuck
I
'em.
think you could. Yeah, well, You could definitely take Kitty Pryde away from Wolverine, and you wouldn't notice because he gets a new teenage prodigy like every fucking week. You know, that's no
But the
big
problem
deal.
is, okay, we'll talk about that a little bit later with Jubilee, I'm sure. But every time Wolverine gets a new one, they don't have the staying power of Shadowcat and to a lesser extent Jubilee. Because there was that period of time where they were putting him with armor, and like, fucking nobody remembers armor.
That's bad writing.
Mhm.
I like Shadowcat, but not a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's a good character, but it's never been one of my like go-to X-Men. It's never been like, oh, dude, Shadowcat's super cool. I would have said like C tier, maybe B tier, but probably C tier in my own like personally. I would have just said, yeah, probably C tier.
All right, John.
I mean, I'd go A tier.
Okay.
I think because of her, like, I've always liked Kitty Pryde anyway, but like her evolution over like the years has been pretty cool. Starting off as like the sort of wide-eyed kid who's scared and like he doesn't really know what's going on when she joins the X-Men, but the fact that she's grown up so much over the years and you know, had to take on all these extra responsibilities and stuff, like becoming headmistress at the Jean Grey School for Higher Learning, and you know, then come Krakoa, like uh, becoming the captain of the Marauders and stuff like that. Like she's always been involved in stuff, and like Corey was saying, she's got all these good relationships that you can play on with so many other characters as well. Like, yeah, I think Kitty Pryde is way too important in the X-Men to rank any lower than A.
Okay. I'm willing to concede because I don't care enough about Kitty Pryde.
Okay. A character that I know you do care for, though, is up next. Anne Marie. What is her last? Is it just Anna Marie? For the longest time, she's just been Rogue.
Yeah. I guess he's LeBeau now.
Yep, technically.
Mm-hmm.
We have Rogue. So Rogue was originally a member of the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, with her power being the ability to absorb and steal other characters' powers. She got a massive upgrade when she used that ability on Miss Marvel, aka Carol Danvers, and seemingly permanently kept her powers. So she gained durability, super strength, and the ability to fly. She joined the X-Men during... She was the Outback years, right? Where she was in Australia?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. And, basically, I think a lot of people became attached to Rogue in the 90s thanks to the animated series. Her on-again, off-again fling with Gambit over the years that eventually did conclude with marriage. And right now she is the leader of the Uncanny X-Men in Gail Simone's book. So, how would you rank Rogue?
I really like Rogue a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So, personally, I would say S tier. I would understand an A tier. I think she's really cool. She's really like she has a lot of traits that Storm has, but like she's a very different character. Very different, and there's a lot of nuance with her, and the fact that she can't touch people, and she's got a lot in her relationship with Mystique and stuff. There's a lot you can do with Rogue, and a lot that people have done with Rogue. I really like Rogue a lot. So I would say S tier, but I'm willing to listen to what you guys have to say.
John?
Yeah, I like Rogue a lot as well, but I wouldn't go as high as S tier. I would stick with A. I think
Okay.
she's a really good character, and like you say, her power set makes her pretty unique, and causes a lot of drama as well. And then
Yeah.
there's the relationship with Gambit, which has always been great. So I don't think she's quite in the top tier, but she's very, very close.
Okay.
I would honestly, I would be really tempted to put her in S tier as well. Rogue is another one of those characters who just always seems important to me. Yeah, that power set, like I said, is unique. The ability to steal people's powers on top of, the Miss Marvel powers that she still has inexplicably. Especially now, she has the ability to control, that ability to steal powers, which again was a huge part of her character for years, was that she couldn't touch anyone because she couldn't control it. So there's a lot of, like I said, there's a lot to Rogue, and I would put her at S for that reason.
Okay. Are we happy enough?
Would you be okay, John, with us putting Rogue
I'm not going to
at
argue
S?
with that.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you a question. We're going to take a break from... Hold on, let me do something real quick. We'll get a clean one. Okay. We have been recording now, like officially for the episode, for about an hour, and we still have quite a number to go. Would you want to break this into 2 parts or just push forward?
I reckon we could probably just knock through it.
Okay, because I feel like some of these we're not going to have as much in the way of discussion on.
Yeah, I think so. I think we can just fly through them.
Okay. All right, up next we have Rachel Summers / Rachel Gray / Phoenix / Marvel Girl. She is the daughter of Cyclops and Jean Grey from an alternate timeline, where she was a bloodhound and would use her abilities to track down other mutants for her masters. Rachel, has had the Phoenix Force in the past. She is, again, top-level telepath like her mother. She has been around for a good long while. She was one of the teachers at the Jean Grey School. She had prominent roles in Krakoa. I will be honest with you, I find her to be incredibly derivative. I don't see I don't see the importance of her, and I don't see what she does that no one else can do.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I feel like at the time she was introduced, it was important and it was different, but I feel like, if we can't have, Nathan Summers, X-Man, in the regular continuity doing stuff, why on earth do we have Rachel Summers?
Mm-hmm.
I would put her at F tier.
Okay. I don't really know a lot about Rachel Summers. I would have said C, just because she does do stuff and she is kind of important. But I don't know enough about her to go any higher than that. And I'm very easy to sway down to F tier if needs be.
I guess my thing
I
is
was going to say C as well.
Well, my thing about it is they don't even treat her like a daughter. Cyclops will have father-son conversations with Cable, even though it is kind of awkward. I have never seen anyone take a parental role with Rachel.
But is that part of the character that she doesn't have anybody to talk to, and that's why she's kind of the
I don't know.
that she is?
I mean, the most family drama is she got upset that Cyclops cheated on Jean and changed her name to Rachel Gray.
All right, what do we think? We don't have a whole lot to say about Rachel Summers. What do we think? Are we sticking
I
with
think
C?
You guys
got
have
a
her
cool
C.
origin, but not much to her.
We
So
said-
I would stick with C.
Okay,
Okay.
I will concede on that. All right, up next, we had a long episode talking about his origins and his backstory. One of our previous episodes, we tried to kill the motherfucker. Up next, Eric Linscher, a.k.a. Magnus, a.k.a. what other names he used in the past. It's Magneto. I mean, if you want a breakdown of Magneto, we, again, had a long episode about him, so have at on that one. I feel like I know where this one's going, though. So, John, we'll go ahead and let you go first. We'll let John go first.
S.
Should we just put him in S tier and move on?
Yeah.
I feel like we should put him in S tier and move on.
This.
But I intentionally went with the sick-ass Jim Lee art, because that, to me, that's Magneto right there. Glowering underneath that helmet. All right, up next, this one's kind of confusing because it's kind of technically 2 characters at once. But we're gonna go with Psylocke, aka Betsy Braddock. Also, at the same time, Quanon, the ninja known as, what was her name? It was like Revanche. Yeah, I could see why we called her
Yes.
why she kept the name Psylocke instead. But yes, so Betsy Braddock joined the X-Men in the 80s. In that period of time, her mind got swapped into the body of Quanon, and she kept the Psylocke name. And for the longest time was a British woman in a Japanese woman's body. And people didn't think that was weird until a couple years ago, where someone went like, that's a little weird. We should probably fix that. And then they did. Right now, currently, Betsy Braddock is Captain Britain, and she was on the X-Force team, and that book ended very recently. Quanon is Psylocke, in name, and she is a member of the adjectiveless X-Men under Jed McKay. Kind of rushed through that because it's a little, like I said, it's kind of confusing. Because Quanon died from the legacy virus, and Psylocke for the longest time, was Betsy Braddock, and she had her on again, off again relationship with Angel, and then there was that weird period of time where she had the hots for Cyclops. And yeah, there's a lot to it, and a lot of it is kind of nonsensical to a degree. But where would you guys put Psylocke?
I like Psylocke. I would put her at B. I think there's a lot of stuff you can do with her. She's a fun character. Also, incredibly confusing backstory that can get sticky from time to time. So I would say like nice in the middle for the B.
John?
Yeah, I would agree with that. Like, if it was the original sort of pink-haired British Psylocke or Betsy, I would probably put it lower. But the classic Psylocke in Quanon's body was a pretty cool character, so I would give it a solid B.
I would agree. Psylocke to me is a B player. Not to say there's not interesting stories to tell with her, but I can't put her on the same level as Cyclops, Nightcrawler, or Wolverine. All right, up next we have Forge, aka his name has somehow never been revealed. But Forge,
that's his name.
Forge is
his name.
Is
Forge.
Forge has the unique mutant ability of being able to basically build and invent anything that he wants, which doesn't sound like a lot until you think about it, and it's actually pretty damn cool. For the longest time, Forge has had kind of a checkered past working with the government, sometimes working for the mutants, sometimes kind of working against them. He had his romance arc with Storm that was always kind of heartbreaking. Addition to that, he led the X-Force during a period of time where it was kind of run like the Suicide Squad, where Mystique and Sabretooth were members. He was in a couple of different versions of X-Force. In Krakoa, he was kind of a liaison for the X-Men, where he wasn't, I don't think he was ever technically on the team, but he did a lot of shit for him. And after Krakoa, he was the leader of the X-Force book that didn't last very long. What are your thoughts on Forge?
I like Forge. I don't love Forge. I think that
you spent 3
this
pounds
is a character
on him.
that's really interesting. Yeah, money well spent. I got him for 3 points. That's amazing. But there's stuff you could do with him that I feel like they don't really do or have done. I think he's a character with a lot of potential, but I don't feel like a lot of that potential has been realized yet. So realistically, I like him, but I don't know if you could go any higher than C. Can you? Maybe B, but I think he's a C player.
Yeah, that's sort of what I was thinking as well. I like the character, even though on paper he's maybe not the most interesting of characters, but his power set is pretty interesting on its own. But like you say, it doesn't really get used as much as it should do in interesting storylines. But I mean, yeah, I would still put him in C.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I don't disagree. I'm a big fan of Forge, but yeah, I wouldn't put him any higher than C. C is sort of to me the area of potential. There is stuff you can do with these characters, but no one really has. Yeah.
That's fair.
So up next we have a character that
write-offs.
Up next, we have a character who I feel like will also do pretty well amongst the three of us. It's Remy LeBeau, aka Gambit. Gambit was the kind of the son of the King of Thieves in New Orleans growing up. Member of the Thieves Guild, ended up getting hooked up with the X-Men after hanging out with a DH Storm for a period of time and acting as kind of a mentor for her. Gambit is a guy with a checkered past and doesn't really make any qualms about it. Had an unfortunate role in the Mutant Massacre that ultimately led him getting removed from the X-Men. Did a stint as the Death Horseman of the Apocalypse. Got better. Was a member of Excalibur. Had a very short tenure on a strange run of X Factor. And as of right now, is with his wife in his native Louisiana, raising a bunch of kids to control their mutant powers. Where do we put Gambit?
S.
John?
I mean, if Wolverine isn't S tier, then neither is Gambit. As much as I love Gambit, I would stick him A tier.
Yeah, Gambit's the coolest X-Man ever. He goes into a fight with a pack of cards and a stick. Like he's the hardest, clearly the hardest X-Man. His stuff with Rogue is amazing. Like if you're gonna put Rogue in S tier, you can see where you would put Gambit in S tier. He's just the best. He's cool.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, John,
The whole Thieves Guild stuff sucks.
So, I mean, here's the thing about it, John. I absolutely agree with Dylan. I think Gambit's the fucking coolest X-Men ever. So I would absolutely put him in S. And I think that ability of, like, anything he touches can be a bomb is pretty OP. And I think that it gets explored every now and then. It's like almost the fact that he uses playing cards is almost a kindness to people because he could do way more damage with bigger stuff.
I think so. Yeah, like there's a guy like he's just fun character to read. You know,
I know this.
When they write him,
yeah,
character to read.
So I know that Gambit used to smoke in the comics, and they removed their hero characters from smoking cigarettes and cigars. So like Wolverine doesn't smoke cigars anymore, and I am probably the reason why that happened. Because as a kid, I thought smoking cigarettes was the fucking coolest thing ever because of Gambit. Never smoked a cigarette in my life, but I was like, see, that's cool as shit. Look at him.
Look at him.
Look at him.
Cool as hell,
He's the coolest.
He is the coolest.
John, I know that you're reluctant to do it, but we do outvote you on this one. Are you okay with that?
I mean, I've got no complaints about it, but I'm just retroactively aggrieved that Wolverine isn't in the S tier.
Not
Gambit is.
Earlier
That's
I
some
was,
bullshit right there.
there's gonna be two X-Men we're gonna fight for to be an S tier, and I was pretty sure those two were gonna be Magneto and Gambit, and Magneto put up no fight whatsoever. So I knew once Magneto skated through, I'm like, there's gonna be some words about Gambit, but I'm very happy to see him in S tier. He's way better than Wolverine. Let's not get into it too much though.
All right, up next we have Jubiletion Lee, aka Jubilee, due to her little firework powers. Started out as the plucky kid member of the X-Men in the 90s, then went on to become a member of Generation X, then became a vampire after losing her powers, then got better, then was in Excalibur during the Krakoa era after she got her powers back and stopped being a vampire. And nowadays, she is also with Rogue and Gambit and Wolverine and Nightcrawler, raising those kids in Louisiana. Thoughts on Jubilee?
And she adopted a baby as well.
Well, she gave the baby up.
What? When?
Spoilers.
A while ago.
Oh my god.
It's
Well,
I think it's
okay, fuck it then.
anticlimactic. I think it's anticlimactic, so don't worry about it. You weren't enjoying that Excalibur run anyway. You told us you weren't a fan of it.
Don't worry about it.
But yeah, thoughts on Jubilee?
F.
Yeah.
I don't care about a Jubilee.
Really? F?
Nobody cares about Jubilee.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Easily the worst character in the TV show. Like, fuck me, dude. Every time Jubilee was there, it's just awful. All spray fireworks at their face. Didn't do anything. She useless. She was in the way more than she did any good. She was a vampire for no reason. She lost a baby. And when I say lost a baby, I mean she just didn't have it anymore. Like, Jubilee just sucks as a character.
All right,
Mhm.
I would put her at C, but I will concede. I mean, it's 2 to 1 on that one. So C, as in cat. I would put her at B.
Her fucking name is Jubilation Lee. Like, that's... Oh.
Yeah, I kind of want to know who decided that one. That was a little much. Up next, though, we have Lucas Bishop, aka Bishop, the time-traveling mutant from the future, whose powers are whenever he takes damage, he can put it right back out of his body in the form of a concussive blast. More often than not, though, he's a guy with guns. Bishop, joined the X-Men after getting stuck in the past. Then he became a villain for a while and tried to kill a baby. And then we decided that we weren't going to acknowledge that anymore, and was a member of the Marauders in Krakoa. And I think most recently he's been hanging out with Cable, doing Black Ops shit.
See,
So-
this is shit I hate. Like, why would he be hanging out with Cable when he tried to kill Cable and ruined like 4 different timelines trying to kill Cable?
Mhm.
Shit like that drives me nuts.
We all agreed we're just never going to talk about Bishop again in that regard. Because he also got his arm ripped off, and like that got better.
Yes. Yeah, what? How?
I don't know. It just did. Don't worry about it. We're just going to act like it didn't happen.
Well, if we act like that didn't happen, then I really like Bishop as a character. Again, I think he's got a lot of potential. And one thing that I always wondered with like him and Cable were like they were sent back from their future to stop their future from happening, but then they just kept hanging out here. So I'm like, well, didn't your future get better? Like, what? I don't
really,
know.
no.
What you just in the present. I like Bishop. I don't know if I could put him any higher than B. Like, I could see a B or a C for Bishop. I like him, and I would put him in B. But I could understand a C.
John.
You know.
I mean, here's the thing: if you're talking about a guy coming from the future and carrying a big gun, there's a better character than him, which
Correct.
we're going to talk about next. So
Correct.
I would stick him in C tier.
I think the problem we're going to have is that whatever tier Bishop is going to be in is going to
a
be
tier
below.
lower. Yeah.
Yes, it's always going to be
Mhm.
at least 1 tier lower than Cable. So that's where I would have said, I don't want to choreograph anything, but I would have said B for Bishop, but I can understand a C. Because again, that's where the potential goes, apparently. C for potential.
Yeah.
So,
And to me, what makes Bishop a
that.
perfect C character is the fact that they won't let anything stick to him. So, like, nobody has figured out
Yeah.
a consistent, like, way to present him. Because I remember during, like, the depowered era, where, like, the 198 mutants, Bishop became, like, the sheriff of, Mutant Town, and was, like, a cop for a hot minute in time. So, like, they experiment with, like, oh, we'll have Bishop do this now, but it never sticks for very long. So, yeah, I think C is fair for Bishop. He should be higher, but they won't commit.
yeah, that's fair. I think that's fair.
All right, we talked about it a second ago, but here is also another man from the future who uses a big gun. We have Cable. Cable is the son of Cyclops and Madeline Pryor, and was contracted what's the name of the virus that he has?
The techno-organic virus.
The techno-organic virus that is slowly turning his body into a machine that he's been able to ward off for years using his very strong mutant power of telekinesis. He doesn't use terribly often, mostly because he's using it to keep his body from being transformed against his will. But yes, Cable was raised in the future, came back to save the past, ended up leading the New Mutants, which he rebranded as X-Force, and, has just kind of always been around doing Black Ops shit. He did get de-aged for a period of time and was like a 13-year-old boy that gave Cyclops and Jean Grey the period of time to raise him during the Krakoa era, of which I think he dated one of the Stepford Cuckoos and also was in a team book with Psylocke and X-23. But yeah, right now, Cable's kind of doing his own thing again, going on these missions to keep the timeline from getting fucked up. He had a miniseries called Love and Metal, I believe, very recently that I thought was very well written. So, what do you guys think about Cable, and where would you put him?
I really like Cable. As mentioned earlier, if you think about big guys with guns from the future, you think about Cable 100%. I think he's got a really interesting backstory and current story. I don't by current story I mean like what they did with him when he came to the present. I don't know what they're doing with him recently. I like the idea that he's like an incredibly powerful telepath, but he can't show it because he's using that to keep himself alive. Like that's a great angle. There's so much to him. I really, really like Cable. I would put him in A tier, for sure. Like a solid A, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%. Like,
Yeah.
cool origin story. Like, he's pretty much a quintessential 90s character as well.
Yeah.
I wasn't so keen on Kid Cable, but like he didn't stick around for long anyway, so who cares? But Old Man Cable, like the whole storyline we touched on with taking Hope to the future to get away from Bishop and like raising her through this like chase through time and stuff, like that was pretty damn good. And yeah, he's been pretty influential as well. Like you say, basically being team leader of X-Force and looking after those characters and stuff. And then there's his relationship with Deadpool as well. Like he is a pretty great character, so I would definitely stick him in A.
Yeah,
I would agree. I think, like you said, Cable's great. One of the things I wish they would do a little more. I think they did it. Actually, I think they did do it, but I haven't seen anything about it. I would love for Cable to confront Jean Grey about what happened with Hope, and I won't get into spoilers territory because I know John's reading his way up, but that's definitely going to be a complicated situation there. But no, I think Cable's great. The dynamic between, like you mentioned, him and Deadpool. Always the straight man. I actually really like Josh Brolin in the second Deadpool movie, and I was a little bummed out that he did not appear for the third. But
me too.
What are you gonna do? But yeah, no, A tier, absolutely.
Cool.
All right, up next, our penultimate pick. We have the White Queen, aka Emma Frost. Emma Frost debuted as a villain for the X-Men as part of the Hellfire Club, where she assisted in tormenting Jean Grey until she turned into the Dark Phoenix. She also started up the Hellions in the Massachusetts Academy, a school for mutants that she was kind of evil mutant kids that were direct in opposition to the New Mutants in Grey Malkin. Unfortunately, that team got massacred by, was it the Marauders who killed the Hellions? Or was it the Upstarts?
Oh.
I think it was the Upstarts, but don't quote me on that.
Sounds like the Upstarts. Which is, I think
Yeah.
they should get used more. I'm a big fan of Trevor Fitzroy. But anyway, she loses her team there and goes on a bit of a redemption arc where she joins with Banshee teaching Generation X. And those students then ends up joining the X-Men proper later on as, their resident telepath and have a bit of a rivalry with Jean Grey because obviously a lot of hard feelings there. That ultimately involves her having an affair with Jean's husband, Scott, before Jean dies and Emma Frost takes her place full time. She also got the power upgrade where she could turn her body into a diamond form that gave her super strength and incredible durability. She broke bad by joining the Phoenix Force and then joined Scott's kind of anti-hero mutant group. She kind of helped fake his death during the Inhumans versus X-Men storyline, which we don't talk about because nobody talks about the Inhumans. And basically, Emma Frost has been associated with the X-Men one way or another for the last, 30, 40 years. Currently, she is with Kitty Pryde in Chicago, mentoring the 3 Young Mutants for Exceptional X-Men. Thoughts on Emma Frost?
When are we gonna do our Inhumans tier list?
Our breakdown. Oh, okay, let's say our breakdown of each Inhuman.
Yeah.
Because I know you have thoughts.
they're
on
all F tier.
I know you have thoughts on Gorgon, except for no.
Wait a minute.
Except for Lockjaw.
The dog.
S tier.
Lockjaw. The dog is S tier.
Okay, yeah.
Giant teleporting
There you
dog.
I like me and Corey both were like, no.
Giant dog. Come on.
Keep the dog. Keep the dog. I really like Emma Frost a lot. I think her stuff with Grant Morrison's run was really, really great, character development for that character. It did a really good job of rehabbing her and making her. What I love about Emma Frost is she's a good guy, but she's not really. She's still Emma Frost.
Yeah.
She's still kind of got her nose in the air. She's still has her own opinions. But I thought her and Scott worked really well together.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only time I really like Cyclops is whenever they were together. I thought they were a great couple. I like Emma Frost a lot. I would put her in A. I could see her being a B, but I would put her in A.
I mean, I'd put her in A easily.
Yeah, I would. Definitely.
A?
She adds a lot of nuance to the X-Men because of that haughtiness. I mean, she is ultimately someone who's trying to do better. I think something that we should also not talk about is that weird period of time she was married to Tony Stark. I kind of wish that was a period that never happened because they're also using that in the Age of Revelation miniseries, her short-term marriage to him, but oh well. Anyway, yes, Emma Frost in A tier. And
it wasn't a very romantic marriage or anything like that, though. So
and they're trying to, but retroactively, they're trying to act like it was.
Really?
Yeah, there's a lot of wistful panels of them looking back on it. Just dumb. Anyway, we're gonna get to our last person. It's Illyana Rasputin, aka Magic, the little sister of Colossus. Liliana joined the X-Men, or she joined New Mutants, technically, before she was trapped in limbo for a very short period of time for us, but for her it was years, where she became the Dark Child and basically a ruler there. So she came back with some very amplified abilities and powers and kind of became a heavy hitter for a long time for the X-Men. Currently, and I'm just kind of rushing through this because I know at one point we will get to a deep dive on all these characters. Currently, she is a member of the adjectiveless X-Men, where she kind of has a friendship rivalry with Juggernaut that usually just amounts to seeing who can one-up the other when they're in big group fights. But yes, thoughts on Magic?
I don't really know much about Magic. I don't know how, but a lot of the books I've read, she's just not in it. I don't really know anything about Magic. I'm gonna say C just because I don't know anything about her, and there's there has to be potential there, but I don't know.
C, fucking hell, I would have
I don't
gone A.
know. I don't know.
She's amazing.
I literally haven't. I don't think I've read a single book that are in it.
What? She's been all over the books over the last
At least the
20 years
last,
or so.
yeah, at least the last 15 or so years.
50, yeah. But she's got a cool origin story. Her time in Limbo basically turned her into this badass warrior. She's got a big ass cool soul sword as well. Yeah, that's the thing. She's got magic powers as well as mutant powers. Magic's amazing.
I will be honest with you, John.
A tier.
I don't even know what her fucking mutant power is. Because, usually in a fight, she's, doing demonic shit and hitting stuff with a sword. So I'm I'm not even aware what her mutant power even is.
She's a teleporter.
There you go. See, now I would have associated some of that with her demon magic, and that's where the lines get crossed a little bit. But no, yeah, magic is so we're going to talk a little bit about Colossus. That is his little sister, and for years, like, he was super protective of her, and they did kind of a fucked up thing where she kind of had to break that from her brother, where she manipulated him into becoming the Juggernaut essentially, and then like showing him hell and making him realize that she is not the 7-year-old little girl anymore. And I think he threatened to kill her one day if she did something like that again. A bit of a fucked up thing. But yeah, Magic was a member of the Phoenix Force 5. That's not their official name, but the Phoenix Force 5 just sounds like a fucking Japanese, like a Sentai Ranger thing. She's done a lot of stuff. She's kind of been a background in a lot of that stuff. She's not at the forefront of it. She just recently had her own solo book that just wrapped up as well. One thing that I also think is a little underrated is her relationship with Cyclops. I mean, Cyclops likes to have her on a team because like she's someone he can rely on and someone he trusts. But it's weird because he kind of takes on the older brother role that Colossus maybe should have. And I think it's because, like, Colossus still looks through rose-colored glasses and sees the little girl in Soviet Russia, whereas Cyclops, like, recognizes, oh, she's a fucking amazing soldier and good sense of humor on her. But yeah, no, I don't know if I go...
Colossus is sulking in the corner as well.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I don't know if I'd go A tier, though. I might go B tier. Because, again, she's part of these things, but she's not a focus of those things. She's just also there.
Okay. That's quite funny that we put Magic and Colossus in the same tier.
They gotta do more with the Rasputins.
I love it. I mean, like I said, I don't know enough about Magic to make like I'm happy to go with whatever you guys say in terms of Magic.
I think if you had read more Magic stuff, you would have put it A tier. But
maybe, honestly, like probably she does seem like a cool character, but like I honest to God don't think I have any trade paperbacks with her in them. And that's not on purpose. It's just the ones I picked up, she's not in them. What's a good one for me to pick up?
Let me have a think, and I'll get back to you.
Yeah,
I think
I
would tell you, Dylan. I would tell you anything from this current Jed McKay X-Men run. I think you would like the dynamic she has with Juggernaut, and the dynamic she has with Quentin Quire.
Okay. Okay, so maybe I could like retroactively change that in the future, but I feel like because somebody said A, somebody said B, somebody said C, we're probably gonna go for B.
Split the difference.
Okay.
Yeah. Are we happy with that?
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that'll do.
There's
I'm happy, but
so here's our 25 X-Men. To do a recap real quick, we have an F tier, Iceman and Jubilee. In C tier, we have Angel, Polaris, Havoc, Banshee, Rachel Summers, Forge, and Bishop. In B tier, we have Xavier, Colossus, Psylocke, and Magic. In A tier, we have Cyclops, Beast, Jean Grey, Nightcrawler, Wolverine, Shadowcat, Cable, and Emma Frost. And in S tier, we have Storm, Rogue, Magneto, and Gambit. Are there any changes that we feel like need to be made?
No, I think at the moment it's okay. Honestly, I think that if there's ever going to be a change, it's probably going to be if I read comics with Magic in it that she gets bumped up. I feel like that's the only real change that's going to happen in this, right?
I mean, here's the thing.
I mean, Wolverine should still be an S tier.
I'm inclined to agree with John on that. That I do think that Wolverine does deserve the bump up to S tier.
If you want, I don't mind. Like, I know everybody loves Wolverine. Like, this is what I said. It's a Joker situation.
Even though his mask does look like two Batman kissing.
Yeah, which is the Joker would love. If you guys want to move him up into X tier, you can. I feel like that's just predictable and boring. Whatever. it's Wolverine. You know what I mean? Like I knew going into this that it was going to be a tough sell. So I don't mind that at all.
Okay.
One thing I did quite like the S tier before that was like Storm, Gambit, Rogue, Magneto. They all have a history together when you think about it. Like there's a lot of intertwining history. Gambit and Storm, were thieves. Gambit and Rogue have a thing. Magneto and Rogue had a thing. You know,
Well, I mean,
Mhm.
it's quite a
Wolverine
nice
and Storm have a thing. I mean, they're kind of on again, off again.
Yeah.
Wolverine and Gambit fuck all the time.
Yeah.
Magneto fucks everybody.
He certainly does.
You know.
So I got that
Yeah,
syphilis.
he's got syphilis, that's why. Yeah.
And the problem with that is he can't Wolverine's trying to get away, but Magneto's like, no. Come to me.
Well, I mean, Wolverine's at the
Wolverine doesn't
advantage.
care. He's got a healing factor.
Yeah, Wolverine will
he's got
fuck
the
anything
advantage.
as well. So that's fair. Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, I'm fine with that.
All right. All right, we'll go ahead and switch back. All right, so that was our tier ranking. Was there anything that surprised you in how that went?
I think most of that went
Mhm.
pretty fair. Honestly, the only thing that surprised me is John really pushed for Magic to the point where I'm very intrigued.
I think you like her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have to read this.
She's a lot of fun. She's a lot of fun.
Okay. Everything else went pretty standard, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
One
yeah.
thing
I can't
is, uh,
have any
if you-
complaints with it, really.
if you look at the A tier list, which is still pretty good, like if you look at that list right now, if that was a team of X-Men, you'd be like, that's a book you'd read.
That's a pretty standard X-Men
Yeah.
team, too.
Yeah, that's pretty good, read that book. So I think that all came along pretty well.
All right. Well, John, what is your
Yeah.
movie count at for the year so far?
I am now up to 773 movies.
My goodness.
Very nice. And what was your most recent movie?
It was Clint Eastwood's last movie that he directed, Juror Number 2, with young Nicholas Hoult. Well, I guess he's not that young anymore.
Yeah,
But he kind of reunites with Toni Collette after they were in About a Boy many years ago as mother and son.
There you go.
It's a good film.
What'd you give it?
Yes.
What did you give it?
Was that? Oh, did you ask? Oh, I have given it 3.5 out of 5.
The unfortunate thing, when I think about Clint Eastwood now, I just think of him talking to that empty chair pretending it was Barack Obama during that Republican National Convention in like a decade or so ago.
Yeah, it wasn't a good look.
Don't remember this.
This old man grunting. Anyway, yes, Dylan, what do you get up to during the week?
Wait, how would people find John on Letterboxd?
Oh, they just have to search for @BigJohnBowski, all one word.
Well, that's good to know.
There's also a link in the description to John's profile. His dating profile.
There you
though.
go. So there's no. Yes.
It's his Bumble account.
Yeah. He's very active on it.
Incredibly.
He will respond.
Constantly swiping right. I don't even know that's something you do on Bumble.
Yeah.
Anyway, Dylan, what do you get up to during the week?
I think. So on Monday nights, I do a radio show where we play loads of music. It's available on bouncedigitalradio.co.uk. Again, the link should be in the description. You can listen to it anywhere in the world, so long as you're tuned in. Well, you can listen to it any time in the world, whenever you want. But if you want to listen to me, tune in at 9 o'clock on Monday nights, or whatever the conversion is for 9 o'clock. Last week we played loads of stuff. We played Lana Del Rey, Alice in Chains, Megadeth, Primus, Our Lady Peace, and then a load of other stuff you probably haven't heard of. Next week, well, I say next week, at some point, I played Placebo, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Beck, Dave Navarro, Buckethead. It's an eclectic time, lots of fun. And then sometimes when I get a chance, I stream art stuff on Twitch at Spooky LaRue. So go there and follow.
Very nice. Again, the links to those places are down below. I have my other show, Large Old Cups, usually every Saturday or Sunday. It's about 28 minutes long, just whatever happens to be going on. It's off the top of the dome. I also have a new writing project called Henry's Usual, which are letters from a Generation X washout. Sitting alone in a diner, writing a letter to maybe himself. So yeah, it's a bit of a, it's, I kind of equate it to Seinfeld in that it's a story without a plot, and we'll just kind of see what happens with it. But aside from that, you can find, we have another link in the description for those places. We also have a link tree with all of our social media shit. So if you're on, you can find us on TikTok and Instagram and all that other stuff. We're posting shorts and clips of the show, and it helps kind of get word out to people that we exist and that we're doing stuff, because we are almost at 100 episodes of the show.
Crazy.
Absolutely. But until next time, we'll see you all later. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, he's a ghost.